Welcome to the Saturday's Think Tank Call, Freedom for Targeted Individuals podcast. Today, I'm your moderator, Ella. This is our group and not mine. At the top of the discussion, we will make any activism announcement, discuss any letter writing campaigns, discuss any legal matters and or developments. The goal is to inspire and implement, more importantly, ideas and come up with strategies to carry them out. If you'd like to speak, just ***. Here's a few points, basic guidelines to follow to keep the unity within the group. Please use common courtesy while discussing matters. Please allow the person to finish before speaking and responding. I suggest everyone keep a notepad close by to take notes or to write down questions while you're waiting to speak. Just be respectful. I think I could say it in a nutshell, just be respectful. This is an activism call, so it's important to remember the theme of the call. If you feel that it's urgent and you need immediate support, we can accommodate your request. Okay, on that note, we can start the discussion. So I'm going to unmute a few people that were unmuted. Matthew will unmute you. Let's see, Amy, I'm going to unmute you. You can let me know if you want to mute yourself again. Okay, so ***, because we do have, from what I understand, there's a little concern about the Unity and Hope Conference. In order for this conference to happen, I think they're looking for some commitments. There's just a little concern about the financial end of it. So maybe I can get Allison on the call. We can post this. Terry, I'm going to unmute you. Hopefully that's okay. Okay. Hi, Karen. Welcome to the call.
Hey.
How's everything going?
Well, enduring pretty much what the people in Cuba were enduring. So they went to Sonics a few weeks ago.
How did you know?
So that's a little, because I can hear it. I mean, it's just it's very piercing, and so it's just much more difficult to shield against. But I'm hanging in, and I wanted to tell people that I did just post a petition on the White House, .gov site. And yes, I know we've tried petitions before, but this is a rather lengthy one, and I'm rather given to being verbose, so I apologize. But what I did was I looked up all kinds of laws that they're breaking, and so I put in the petition that we basically demand that you stop doing this to us. And then I put all kinds of laws and reminded them that, according to Marbury versus Madison, which is a Supreme Court decision, any law passed in the United States or on U.S. territory that is unconstitutional is void, is just clearly void. One of the problems is that we are in a constitutional crisis at this point, and people think they have to obey a law that is unconstitutional. Well, they do not. So I listed several pages of laws that are being broken, and I put forth some rather stern and fierce demands. So if people want to go to the White House petition site and take a look, because this is very, like I said, it's very stern and fierce wording. If you're not comfortable signing it, then don't. But I basically demanded that this stop based on these laws. I demanded that the assets of all the entities and people, individuals, doing this to us be taken and redistributed to us. And I demanded that the people involved get the death penalty. Now, there is a place where I'm sure you can put, I'm not in agreement with Karen or this petition on these points. And please do. Please do. I would take no offense at you saying I'd rather this than that. That's fine. Just as long as you sign it and get their attention, and the wording is strong to get their attention, because we have been polite and it's not worked yet.
Right.
So do take a look, consider it, and sign it or not sign it as you wish. But I just wanted to let people know that's an option for now. And then somebody can come up with something else next month. And if we do a petition every month, I'll sign every petition. I'll support everybody else's efforts. But this I just put out there for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to include it in my my announcement that I'm going to be sending out tomorrow. and allow people to do it. But, and allow people to review it and sign it. I haven't not had a chance to read it. I saw the email, but I have a feeling I'm going to agree with you. It's so brutal, and I've talked to so many people who are absolutely brutalized by sadistic monsters, and so I have a feeling I'm going to concur or agree with what you've written. So,
well, like I said, if anybody wants a copy of the document, email me. I will send you a copy. And on the last page, I provide somewhere where it says, I, so-and-so, and you put your name, concur with this letter in so much as, I want this to stop, blah, blah, blah. And it's very polite. You're not necessarily endorsing all of the letter. You are stating in this, on this page, I want it to stop. Now, you guys can play with that, say what you want. I concur here. I do not concur there, whatever you like, in this last page to the document, and then you can mail that to whoever you want to. But I have put at the end of this, before this last page for the person to sign, I have put that I was the author. Why? Because I'm an egomaniac? No, because the wording is so strong that if somebody tries to come back at you for sending this, you point it out to them saying, I did not author this. This woman did. Okay? So you point them to me, and I'll take whatever flack. But on the last page for you to put whatever you feel like putting.
Who is this talking again?
This is Karen Stewart.
Oh, hi, Karen Stewart. Can you email me a copy of that, and I'll post it up on my website for people if they want to download it and stuff?
Okay, let me grab my pencil. I didn't do as Ella said. I did not have a pencil, so I will take emails.
It's only your second one that's participating. I can send it, Karen. I can forward it to him. Terry, I'm going to send it to you while we're having the meeting here, so I'll send it to you. I can actually send it to you right now. So I'll go ahead and do that. Karen, is that giving me permission to forward it to him?
You can forward it to anybody, everybody, Ella.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want, Karen, you can go to my website and go to the forums, and there's a place for petitions for people to log their petitions so others can look at them to go sign them.
Okay, I just sent it to you. I got it to you right now.
All right, thank you.
And for the group, you can email me at KAMS56@me.com.
Hi, guys. This is Rochelle, and I've had the opportunity to speak with Karen about her letter. I have already received a copy, and it is right on. I think to be, everybody has their own opinion, but I don't think that it can be brutally written as what's happening to us. We're worrying about words. I think that should be our least concern. It's nothing in comparison to how we're being brutalized physically. This is just words, and to now try to justify us being upset and mad and whatever else about being brutalized physically every day, all day, is no comparison. So it's time that we at least be able to and accept within ourselves, within our own community at least, being angry and owning that. We should be angry. We shouldn't be acting as if all is fine and always use and go in begging. We've been begging now for years. Now we can own being angry. What's wrong with that? I mean, so say what you feel. What's wrong with that? We should not be, allowed, at least within our own community, at least to not be able to own our feelings. I'm tired of being the bad guy for owning our feelings. We should be mad. We should be able to say what it is we're feeling and not have to worry about being criticized about what word we're using after we're being tortured every day. And I also wanted to interject at this point. Now we have to start really playing to win, and being able to own the numbers of us that are out here being brutalized every day, and there should be a contact list instead of everybody trying to write down an email one by one and whatever. That I don't know how well that works. So there should be a contact list available to us if we plan on trying to be a unit and be able to utilize our numbers, that everybody can be contacted some way by way of an email address that's available to us, perhaps some kind of way, or phone numbers. So, and instead of just hoping that one person or two people email us, we're not going to get anywhere like that. We have to be able to connect and make it work for us, because nobody's breaking down the door to come to our rescue. There are quite a few good ideas out here now that need support, and it takes numbers, and there should be a listing that at least of all of us, some contact list that we can all make ourselves available to be able to support everything that involves exposure of our situation. Nobody's helping, so we got to show up. We got to start supporting these and not being so critical of each person's idea. As long as it's exposing our issues, our problems, then so be it. Recording your name from the privacy of your own home, or not privacy, of course, but from your own homes. That's the least we could do. It doesn't take going anywhere. It's just a signature to say, yes, I'm being heard out here, and I want somebody to see it, own it, and be accountable for it. What's wrong with that? But I'll leave it for now. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you. Let me suggest to anybody who really doesn't want to give their phone number or email address, go to the internet and make another secondary email address, okay? Just for this.
I agree.
It's not a problem. Gmail and other things like that can be free. Just, Jane Doe 52. I mean, just make a different email if you don't want this going to your regular email. It's simple enough.
Yeah, and to be honest, what about us they don't know? That's the whole point. They know when you go to the bathroom. They know everything. They know everything about us already. It's not like we're keeping anything from them for not supporting our own causes. They already got that. That's the whole problem. It's a total invasion of your privacy. I get bombarded with radio frequencies in the bathroom, everywhere. I'm being tracked by, just everywhere I go. So what about us they don't know already? It's not like you're keeping anything private at this point.
That's true.
Well, I do have a buddies list that's getting slowly built at my website for people, TIs, to contact each other to hopefully incite activism and people getting together to work together and stuff. And you guys are all welcome to fill out the form at my website and get your name added to it. If you want to do whatever email addresses, whatever it asks you for information, you don't have to fill out what you want to. And I can tell you there are people utilizing it already, so it's helping out.
I just think we have to get away from being afraid at this point. It's either be afraid and not do anything, and die, a quick death. We're past the point of being afraid. That's not going to save us. That's what they want. It works right into their plans for us. They want you afraid to be and not do anything about this abuse. They want you scared. So at this point, we have nothing to lose. It's an all or nothing, do or die situation, and there's no way around it. We didn't ask them to be in this program. These people are heartless, and we're not even being able to get support from our government, from anybody. So it's do or die for us. We're past the point of being afraid.
That's very true.
Well, once we stop being afraid, then we can go back to living our lives. I mean, that's a hard lesson even for me to learn. But I can tell you, the more people that we get out there on the streets and start passing out flyers and wearing T-shirts and signs, there's many people that I've talked to that say that they would not have gone to the internet and researched and realized what this crime was unless they were handed a flyer. And the fact that you hand a flyer to them, because some people say that they've heard the word and stuff, but they never, when they got home and stuff, they just never researched or looked into it. But with handing them a flyer, they said they actually had enough information they wanted to sit down and learn and find out what is going on, you know, with it, and do some research. So I think it's really important, and many people see the T-shirts that I wear that say "Ask for Flyer." They come up. The other day, I've been passing out some CDs of different people's interviews and statements about this crime too, so people can listen to audio. I went to a park and there was a group of people playing one of the CDs I handed out when I walked up to them. I really believe that this is the right way to get the word out there, guys, and we just got to get over our fears and stuff and get out and do it like you're saying. But there's the vertical, because the program's designed to make you not want to tell anybody so that you're discredited and everything. And we got to get over that. The other day I went and handed out, you know, information packets and gave them to cops and stuff. I don't have any problem. Nobody calls me, you know, insane or paranoid or anything. And actually the police forces are starting, besides the ones that you can tell are involved in it, but the other officers are getting very responsive to me. I even had a Portland police officer say he knows some of his fellow officers are involved in this crime and they all deserve to be in jail. So, but we got to get out there and work at the ground floor. I really believe that's the way we're going to beat this, guys.
Yeah, we have to start supporting. And right now, I've been able to be in on or a few great ideas. And we can't be afraid to make sure they're put to action. Karen Stewart has beautiful letters already written up. All it takes from each one of us is a signature to say, yes, I'm being heard out here. She's not the only one. There's all of us, and we should all feel obligated to save our own lives. Nobody's coming to our rescue right now. Nobody. And how many years has it been for some of us? 30 years. When is enough to stop being afraid? Karen has the petitions out here, letters out here, beautifully written to support this cause. Frank just mentioned yesterday a website for the FBI to start doing complaints, a tsunami complaint there. That's a wonderful idea. Cindy on the last, I think her name is Cindy, on the last call mentioned Twitter. A tsunami Twitter campaign with the president, starting at the president on a certain day. These are things that we have to put to action. Just calling, making these podcast phone calls and disagreeing a little here and then hanging up equals zero if we don't put some things to action. Melissa mentioned kind of springboarding off of a law, Michigan's law, and getting that useful for us. We have to start putting these things to action. And if each one of us doesn't want to participate in any of this, why are we wasting our time on the phone each day, each week, if we're not going to do anything to save ourselves? It doesn't make sense. It's a total waste of time if we're not going to support our own ways of trying to protect ourselves and save ourselves. It doesn't make sense when all it takes is your endorsement, and all you're doing is saying that I'm being hurt too, and I'm mad about it. You have a right to be mad about it.
It's called righteous indignation. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's getting old and it's getting ridiculous. It's the other night, I mentioned to Karen that Friday on Frank's podcast, there was a lady that it's just so it's heartbreaking for all of us. Don't get me wrong, but to tears. Where are we as a country when it's acceptable to attack senior citizens, anybody really, but senior citizens to tears. What is wrong with us as a country? You know, it's sad. It's sad. We all are being brutalized. There's no place that's safe for us. And then we're worrying about wording? No, I'm not. Go for it. Whatever, however angry, we have a right to that anger.
Well, I will caveat that with that. When I say it's strongly worded, I didn't curse, I didn't threat. I didn't threaten anybody, but it is just demanding that that this come to an end. It's demanding punishment for people. It's demanding that we're compensated, even though God knows in this life we'll never be compensated. But, it's very strong demands, and the only thing that could possibly be twisted into a threat is that I put a statement in there saying we have a right to self-defense. So I have a version of it that does not have that particular sentence in it. So if that bothers you, I will send you a version that has that sentence removed. But we do have a right to self-defense. We absolutely do. The government can't come and say, we're going to send people to stab you 42 times, and I'm sorry, you can't legally do anything about it. That's what they're doing.
And defend could mean anything. It could mean defend yourself legally in the court system. It's your interpretation. But we do have a right to defend. So you didn't say we're going to go out here and hurt people, kill people. We have a right to defend, and defense could mean anything in court. So it's we definitely owe it to ourselves and to support anything that involves exposure of what's happening to us, any and everything. And if you don't agree with it, then create what you want to be out there, and we'll support that. It's just as simple as that. But exposure. That's what we all at least agree on that. And in order for that to happen, we have to all participate.
Yes, because we can be blown off. One person, 5 people, they say, that's just a handful of nutcases. But no, 50, 100, 1,000, then it becomes much more difficult.
And, petitions, people use petitions all day, every day for a reason. Because, like Karen just said, one person can be blown off. And believe me, I've gotten all these automatic responses now, which I've gotten to a place. It's just a way of covering themselves, because so far I have yet to get a follow-up call, but I'm going to follow it up myself. But, for those that will respond, and it seems to be that's just another way of them covering themselves. I did respond, at least. But I've yet to get a follow-up after those automatic responses. But usually they'll direct you. I've been directed to a personal attorney. That's what they do when it's a single person. So as a group, that's why people resort to petitions. That's the only way you're gonna amount to anything to them, because numbers for them. They want to know how the community is being affected, because they're interested in vote numbers. That's numbers mean something to them. Other than that, they're not really that concerned. They just want what's in it for them by way of numbers and votes, which equal votes to them, by the way. That's what I found. I could be wrong, but that's so far. Who's been contacted?
If I may say, I just got on successfully, and these people should, without any doubt, be identified and prosecuted, and we should not have this henceforth. That is all I have to say at the moment. I'm in complete agreement with Karen.
I'm in total agreement that the people who say, well, we were just following orders, no. Absolutely no. You're guilty. The police always want to tell you.
We're not in a state of war. Well, this is domestic. I mean, we're not in a state of war, and we're not soldiers. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's insane, and it's a violation of every right of a human being that
it is
de facto.
It is.
And
they have more than. They've most likely been told that they have immunity.
Unarmed people.
Yes. Well, that's a war crime. You use weapons of war against unarmed non-combatants. That is a war crime, and I point that out in the petition. It's crimes against humanity, but it's also technically war crimes.
That's right. If you're
typically against older citizens, even children, women, it's as if it's an undeclared war, and we don't even know who we're fighting. It's like
they've been judge, jury, and crucifier all in one. We don't even know what we're guilty of. What have we done?
Well,
even the worst of criminals out here on the street get a trial. We have been crucified for what reason? We don't even know. So
these people are not much. The Ku Klux Klan. I mean, it's not much unlike that.
It's like a death cult.
Hold on, I'm so sorry to interrupt the conversation, but if you just joined us and you want to join the conversation, just star on your handset, and you can also use the mute button on your phone once you're in the call. Sorry about that. Please continue.
No problem. I pointed out in the petition that they are in violation of the Fourth Amendment, which says you have a right to be secure in your home and your papers and everything else. They have violated the Sixth Amendment, which I believe is the one that says that you have to be told what you're accused of and then have an opportunity to face your accuser, know what his supposed evidence is, and to counter it. And then there's also the Eighth and I think the 14th Amendment. The Eighth, I believe, has to do with cruel and unusual punishment. Well, you can't use cruel and unusual punishment against somebody you have convicted of a crime, much less you haven't even convicted them. So I did point out that it's in total violation of these amendments, and anything in violation of the Constitution is void, according to Marbury versus Madison. And under U.S. Code 18, several sections they are violating, more than I can even count. I mean, there are 3 pages of laws and things like that I say you are in violation of these, which is including Section 241 and 242 under 18 U.S. Code that says that if you are caught conspiring to basically deprive someone of his or her constitutional rights, you can go to prison for minimum 20 years, and if what you did deprives them of their life, then you get the death penalty. And this is 241 for civilians, 242 for law enforcement operating under color of law. And operating under color of law means you are using your badge to commit a crime. You are claiming it's official business or that it's legal, but it is not. It is a crime.
Yeah, you're out here attacking grandmothers and grandfathers and children. Are you kidding me? As a country, where have we gone? I just feel like what country are we in? What planet are we on? Are you kidding? And we don't even know why.
Right. Well, the why is profit.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. Why were we chosen? It's a free country. We can speak. None of us are criminals. So why were we really chosen, from living in a free country, being free citizens? There's no justification for anybody being chosen for something like this. Even the worst of the worst criminals get a trial. You got people that were out here eating people out here that are real terrorists, killing people, and they get a trial. What have we done?
Well, see, we haven't. I mean, if we're chosen for anything other than random, we're chosen for actually being decent, good people, and we've been chosen for being people with integrity who cannot be bribed or swayed. And I think that might be part of it, but this is not a civilization. all right? This is a shell that's pretending to be a civilization, and what is going on is that we're turning into a predator-prey society. They have created a new class of untouchables. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the caste system in old India, but if you're born into the untouchable bottom class, your only hope was to eat from the garbage piles outside of the city, because you are not allowed to have a job. You were not allowed to have a house. You had to basically live under cardboard or some other such horror, and nobody talked to you. They pretended like you didn't exist, or they might spit on you, or, you know, whatever. But for some reason, that society needed an underclass of scapegoats. And guess what? We're devolving into something similar, where these people, I mean, whole communities are making millions of dollars persecuting us under false pretenses. Mm-hmm. It is a panic from 9/11, which I can tell you, having been at NSA, they knew it was coming. They didn't do anything about it, and I suspect that they had everything to do with planning it. So this was concocted to put the entire country into a panicked state, so that they could come to the people and go, oh, you poor babies, we're just going to have to take all your rights away so we can protect you from what they created.
Who's speaking? I missed the beginning of the call.
This is Karen Stewart.
Okay, I thought so. Thank you. This is Sumaya.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, you're so right. And, you know, the lady who's asking why did they pick us, it really comes down to you're a soft target with no weapons and easy prey. And so, you know, if you're creative and you think outside the box, you move up the list. If you go, you know, do some kind of protest or letter writing, you move up the list. You become more of a threat. But we still have to fight because, you know, we have to establish justice in some way and get it out there.
We do, because otherwise we're not living. And anybody else who thinks that everything is normal, and I've likened this to looking at a beautiful red apple, biting into it and seeing that the whole thing's rotten. It just hadn't popped through the skin yet. Well, our civilization is rotten to the core, but people are trying to prop it up and make the sheeple think that everything is fine, everything's normal. But, oh, if you have to sue somebody, then you're going to become a target. If you think you actually have rights and try to exercise them, that's the end of your life.
Yeah, what do you think about all these victims who are signing up for disaster relief? I have a bad feeling that they're getting on the list because they're going to be helpless and dependent.
Oh, that's, you know, it's hard to say. Anybody who takes a stand may be put on the list. And just think of the people who we don't know about, who suffer in silence and then they get killed. We don't know. The newspaper says they died of a heart attack. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Or the people who do commit suicide, and the newspaper prints, oh, Susie Smith committed suicide. She had a history of mental illness. Well, did she? Maybe she didn't. You know, so we're losing people right and left. And because this is a profit-making...
That actually did happen to Susan Watkins, just as you explained.
I'm so sorry.
Can you guys hear me?
In my prayers, I ask that we lose nobody until this breaks open.
Karen?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, this is Paul in Mass. I'm a targeted individual myself, and I've heard that this. Hey, I've listened to people, you know, like Eleanor White and such, who this has apparently gone on for years and years. I just heard that it just got really ramped up big time after 9/11 because of the Patriot Act and all the funding that went into it. Would you say that's true?
I think that is exactly true. I think what they were doing was they were pushing to get these types of laws passed so that they could purposely and secretly misinterpret them. Now, Senator Wyden from Oregon had put out a call a while back saying, I have been told by people in the intelligence community that these laws are being wildly misinterpreted on purpose. So I would like to know what anybody knows about it. Please, you know, contact my office. Well, I can tell you right now what it seems to be, one of the things that seems to have been totally perverted is when Bush declared that we reserve the right to find any terrorist anywhere and kill them. Well, this has been totally misinterpreted as anybody who gets put on this fake or, I don't know what kind of list it is. It might be a double list where they have actual threats, verifiable threats on the watch list, and then they have a fake watch list where they trump up evidence against us, or whether it's the same one. I don't really know, but there is a list at least. But what is going on is that they have misinterpreted this as saying anybody put on this list can be killed. Well, they're not necessarily talking about flying a drone over your home and killing you. They have interpreted this as saying these people have no civil rights, they have no human rights, they have no constitutional rights, therefore we can kill them any way we wish, including selling them as contracts to people testing out weapons like directed energy weapons or gases or chemicals, or to a medical laboratory that inserts chips in them next time they need any type of operation, or to any type of laboratory. So this is what is going on. They've used this as an excuse to human traffic us.
Yeah,
can you hear me, Karen?
It's shocking.
Yes.
Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, it's Midge.
Hey.
Hey. And also, I just want to add, and I've said this before, that after 9/11 and the Department of Homeland Security was formed, that was formed by the elitist group, Fortune 500, all right? And what they did is this is a private enterprise. This is not government. That's why you cannot get a FOIA request from them, because it's not government. It is a private enterprise for profit. And when I look at some of the registration papers, one of them says that it is a readjustment company or business. So they are readjusting some of us because we're labeled terrorists. And that is no joke. And so also what they've created is that everything got reestablished, reworked in the mix with the government, and now they're under Homeland Security, like transportation, along with private businesses. They privatized the license plates, the private license plates that the prisoners used to make. So it's more or less part of our government has been privatized. And so they're the ones that are doing this to us. It's DHS, ICE. When I went to the FBI and I showed them what I had, which was all validated proof, and they said, you're not under police surveillance. And I said, okay, then tell me what is going on. And they said, well, your ex-husband has his own surveillance company. And then they said DHS. So that's who's doing it. And they also said, let me guess, he's trying to make it look like you're crazy, because they know him. And then they said no one has the right to implant anyone. So I thought that was pretty significant.
Yes, I think so.
And that's exactly what's going on. But nobody has been told, the public has not been told the truth about what has happened. The globalists have taken over because they are DHS, and they are an enterprise. And an enterprise means that they are able to have under the same umbrella departments and businesses. So when I got my new license plate for my new car, it came in 666. Well, I wanted to know who was responsible for that. And then that's how I started discovering what has been restructured under Department of Homeland Security. And then, so that's privatized, so that's how they purpose. Once you know that, then it's like, okay, now I know how they're doing that, who's doing that. I got a department store new card, and it came in 666. I then found out that this department store is also under Department of Homeland Security. They are in a monopoly now. Okay, and they want to take over. It's called Dillard's out here in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
But I thought, okay, who would do that? I mean, how is that possible? So you go find, okay, who owns Dillard's department store?
Oh.
So
Yeah, I heard
it's all under
Walmart
this
also. I heard Walmart is part of that.
Applebee's, and also they don't own like all the McDonald's. They buy out franchises, in different states. They do have some Walgreens. Some of the Walgreens are privatized now. They're owned by different businesses and corporations. So I was told that by someone who works at Walgreens.
But
so there's a whole slew.
You're also aware that it goes above DHS. It went back to, if you keep going, it goes up the ladder to the NRO, the NSC. Those are groups that were established way before. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all been restructured now under the same umbrella, the CIA, FBI, all of them. They're all under, they have partnered up, so to speak, with DHS ICE. It's also known as ICE/PEP. There's different versions of it.
Hi, Karen. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Karen?
Yes, we can.
Hello? Oh, Karen,
yes.
First of all, there's two companies or two types of companies out there. The kind that will bend over backwards to the government and the kind that will bend over backwards to the government. So if the government needs them to do something that they may consider funny business as far as you're concerned, but the government says, don't worry, it's all right, turns out it's don't worry, it's all right, because in the end, there isn't much you're going to do about it. You're going to try to do something about it, but every single time you do, for them, it's like something easy that they can basically dispel out of their way. As a good example of what's easy for them to get rid of and what's not is, see, I asked Ella for help, and I said, you put me in a room with two other people that basically she may or may be able to get in touch with, and everybody's life got turned upside down. Ella's, basically mine. I just am able to make phone calls. I don't even know what Ella thinks of what happened out of that incident, but basically, like, what you guys may want to consider is the fact that everybody that's a typical targeted individual has absolutely no credible proof that it's really going on, other than pictures of people doing things all over the city that may be the same, but in a court it's really hard to prove. But there's a few of us that are like literally implanted.
Right,
I have proof.
and that's solid proof.
I have proof that I'm in the AI program. I have found a legal document with my name on it that says AI Doris, which is my legal name. I showed that to the FBI. I showed them that I found the equipment that I'm being interfaced with. And they validated everything. I showed them. They wanted to know how I found out the information.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And now that you found it out, did they stop?
They've cut back. They're not burning my face off anymore.
So they just
they know. I mean, in other ways, though, they're coming on stronger. But at least I'm not getting burned to the point of being unrecognizable.
Yeah, she had gotten second and third degree burns.
I have also several diagnoses from different doctors of radiation burns, one from an ophthalmologist and another one from an emergency room doctor when I was burned with the active denial system. I have proof that there is the Active Denial Alliance here in Phoenix.
Can you prove that it was a microwave weapon that did this to you, or that?
How are they? I showed everything to the FBI, and I showed them that realist.
How are they saying this happened to you? Clearly, whatever they. I'm not saying what they're saying is true, but.
One was with the Active Denial System. The other was with, satellite. And another one was with, they're thinking the smart meters, because it's all within your walls of your newer homes. Okay, so they're easily able to do that, to direct all that stuff and just electrocute you, basically, is what they're doing.
Well, that's fine, but when you walked in with third-degree burns, did they say, my God, you got zapped by secret equipment from satellites, or did they say something else?
They don't say anything like that. Well, this is the good thing.
No, they don't. Believe me, I know.
But Dr. Standiger called down ahead of time, told them I was coming in, told them I was her patient, and this is what had happened to me. So she had prepped them. I used to be upper management at that same hospital, so I still knew a lot of people. They know who I am. So it went very smoothly. They did not Baker Act me. You know, they had me call the police, who were horrible. And they thought I was a behavioral health patient, so they did talk to the nurse, and I heard him say, my girlfriend heard him say, no, she's in the ER. No, it's radiation burns. I had an investigation. Every single state has a radiation regulatory agency. They are not doing their job. They opened up an investigation for me twice, and then they shut it down.
As if someone way higher up is slowing the investigation down. Is that what you want to say? Because, see, like what I was trying to get at is the fact that it's a bitch to prove, but me and let's say a couple other folks have actual implants in them, and I figured out a way how to get those implants out.
Well, that's physical evidence. That's physical evidence, undeniably.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know,
but see, what winds up happening is
Marcus, wait till people are done talking. Thank you.
But, you know, I showed that to the FBI as well, my scans by Melinda Kidder, and then the identification of all the frequencies and stuff by Dr. Staniger. They validated that search, and they said to me, nobody has the right to implant anyone. I then showed them the real estate fraud that I have known about. That's why I got targeted. And this is what they did. They pointed to all the evidence that I have with the burns and everything and the harassment and torture. And they said, we don't know if you can get him on this, but you can get him on this. And they pointed to the real estate corruption.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, let me interject one thought,
okay?
Because, you know, people say, oh, you can't prove this or you can't prove that. Well, there's something called a preponderance of evidence. If one person goes to the police department, they can blow you off. If you got 5 or 10 people going to the police department with the same story who really don't know each other, there's never been any type of connection, then there's something going on. Where there is smoke, there is fire, and a judge will say, something is going on here, let's look into it. So if you might have this or that type of evidence, and then you go to the police and have a similar situation, somebody else goes and maybe they have actual burns. Maybe somebody else goes and they have videotape meter readings showing that you have electromagnetic radiation surging through your house at 9,000 kilohertz or more, and an electrician says there's not a thing wrong with the electricity in this house, this is an outside source. So you've got proof of that, and then you have a bunch of people coming in saying that we have similar experiences, and each of them has a different puzzle piece. You can prove it. You can get a judge to say there's something going on here, and the preponderance of evidence would indicate that it is a crime and it is calculated.
I'm not knocking that in the least, but why hasn't it stopped for you? I mean, see, here's the parts that I don't get is all of you are saying you have a bunch of evidence. Various people claim to have, I have undeniable evidence, and the fact that it's happening to you, I'm not knocking that. Like, if at any time you're thinking I'm trying to blow this off and saying you're imagining this, no, you're not. But everybody keeps saying I have all this proof. What's happening with the proof, and why isn't it out there in the real world?
Well, it takes time,
Well,
Mark.
we're having trouble with lawyers.
Well, and you know, when I talk
I offered a 2-week solution. Much better odds. Just the moment you might want to ask Ella what happened to her life.
No, that had nothing to do with you. That just happens, you know, that's just my life.
I know. Your life got turned upside down. Mine got turned upside down.
Mine's
I mean, I was
my life
made homeless for 2 weeks.
May I
so
say
say something? I don't know if I'm muted or unmuted, but you know, this is new information for most of us. We're acquiring this information. We're dealing with it. We're putting it together. And anything this severe takes a while to put together. Nobody, you know, if you don't know for sure what's happening, we're in the process of finding out. That's a process.
Right.
And if it's done correctly, we will have a very strong position. But we're in the process of gathering this together. We can't just all of a sudden run. As Karen said, you know, as she said, you put, you know, 5 people go to the police, each in various conditions around being burned by frequencies of some sort, radiation. You know, that's a strong case. But, you know, 5 different people go to 5 different police departments on 5 different years, it's not going to be a case. You know, what Karen's saying is we're gathering it
Right. And, you know, here in Arizona, there's 5 of us that go to the same doctor, a naturopath. And that has been extremely helpful.
Yeah.
And there's 2 doctors. They understand exactly what's going on. They support us 100%. I talked to Richard Lighthouse the other day for 2 hours. He was on Ella's show last month. He's so informative and so intelligent. He said that it's, you know, numbers. It's in numbers. He said that when 2% of the population is impounded by this, and it is going that way, then the gates will be thrown wide open, and no longer will this remain a secret. And so he said it's getting there. But he said it's just a mathematical equation that we're now over, I think, 1.5 million, but when it hits 2 million, then that is the key right there. That's going to be when it's going to take off. And I hate to see anybody else have this happen to them, but I do believe these guys are getting out of control.
You realize it's closer to 3 million right now across the world, that the number is probably over 3 million. So I don't know where you're getting your number.
I'm just telling you what he said, and he's really informative. He's written many, many books. I think he was talking here in the United States.
I'd like to add
as long as the information is sit back and do nothing. I think you guys love this.
Oh, man.
Because think about it this
wow.
I don't know.
Are you kidding me? Jeez,
I don't know. I'm saying, look at it this way.
Ridiculous. Please.
Hey, I'd like to add something real quick, guys, if I can.
You know what? This is not productive when you talk like this. This is a call that's for education.
Am I muted?
And for activism. And this is not productive for what we're here for today, and I'm sorry to say that to you. But you know what? You need to bow out if you're not going to be productive.
I agree completely, Marcus.
Where's the fact
I have to say that what you're trying to do is encourage people.
You pull the implant.
Okay, guys, let's go on to something else. I'd like to add something here real quick.
Yeah, please do.
I actually, when I went to the police and went to FBI like everybody else and, you know, got stories like from the FBI, they told me they got their curiosity and they're interested. It's very obvious when I talked to the guy that he knew all about what I was talking about and everything. I even told him so. I even mentioned to him while we were sitting there that they probably called and let him know that I was on the way, and he started smiling really big, you know. I had an officer tell me just the other day when I was on the phone with my mother, I was talking to her on the phone, I had to go up and give him one of my packages, and he says right on it, and when I'm going up and talking to officers, I record, always put my recorder on, and he says right on it, he says that stalking's not against the law. So we're going to run into options like this. But one of the reasons why I wanted to jump in and tell you about, there are a lot of good officers. I have had, like I said, Portland police told me that he knows some of his fellow officers are involved in this crime and they should all be in jail. But on the other hand, so I took it to another different step. I don't know if any of you guys went. So I went to internal affairs here in Portland for the police department and stuff and asked them why they were not taking police reports and stuff. And he says, I'm just going to be straightforward with you, Mr. Brewer. He says the problem here is they've been told not to take your complaints, and it's up to the individual officer whether to take a complaint from you and log it as a legitimate crime or not. And he says they've been told not to do that. So that's a hurdle you have to overcome because it's up to each officer's own discretion on whether he wants to file a police report or take you serious or not. I just wanted to add that.
Let me straighten something out. When they tell you that stalking is not against the law. That's a lie in the vast majority of states. I was told at one point in time that multiple people stalking you is not against the law, only if one person is stalking you. That was by a Tallahassee Police Department officer named Outz, O-U-T-Z. And she was wrong, because under RICO, under racketeering, multiple person stalking is against the law. Period.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Well, I told the cop that told me that, I said, look, every state has stalking laws, and I said there's federal laws against it too, and I said also harassment falls under stalking laws, and I said, say for instance, this is what I said to him, say for instance, if somebody's sitting around just to try to harass somebody or intimidate them, that's part of harassment, that falls under laws too. And I think I kind of upset him by the time he finally drove off, because I wasn't going to take no for an answer for him to take my package, but I said they're in court laws. And my point behind this is, if you guys are going to talk to officers and stuff, definitely know your laws. And like Karen's saying,
yes,
it's important for us to know this stuff, so when we talk to them, we can dispute what they're saying. Something else I'll share with you too is one day, I don't remember who was on the phone, but I went up to a fire marshal, and some people thought this was a little skit for my viewing, but there was a white truck parked across the street from where I was at, and the fire trucks came and a fire marshal came, and one of the guys says it's really weird. He says there was no smoke or nothing coming out of the white truck, but all of a sudden all these guys came out and acted like there was some type of fire and darted around the truck. So I decided to take one of my packages over to the fire marshal, and this is a quote. He told me that there's a city ordinance in Gresham that says you cannot take any information about a crime, flyers, or packets, anybody that's employed by the city. And then he went on to say the state, and he goes, and the only way you could deliver it is come to our houses, and I wouldn't suggest that. And I said, really? So the first thing I did, the person, when I went to the police department and the fire department, they might even be on this call, but the first thing I did right after then is I went to the mayor's office and asked them if there was such an ordinance. And of course they told me there wasn't, and I knew there wasn't. But then the second thing I did is went over to the police station, asked them if there's any such ordinance. And at the police station, they said no on the counter. They're supposed to take our flyers and information about anything that we present to them.
Well, that's great. Did you get it recorded? But you investigated it quite well.
Yeah, I whenever I go into there, I'm always on the phone, and I always turn on my recorder on my phone. There's even one police station that I used to go into, and I quit going in there because they absolutely won't take any of my information or anything. But they put a sign up on the door that says no recording devices allowed in the police station, which I thought was kind of funny. And I asked the lady the last time I went in there, I said, what is it you guys got to hide that nobody can have any recording devices in here?
You know, can I just say one more thing? You guys, if you have a lot of evidence, or if you have videos of being stalked and you can prove it, you can request for a stalking investigation to be opened. At least that will be in your file, which I did have done. And the chief of police, when I was giving him my spiel and showing him my videos, you know, halfway through, put up his hand and said, "We believe you." And that was in front of two detectives as well. So they did open up a stalking investigation. I knew it wouldn't go anywhere, but it's a sheer fact that they validated what I was telling them, and they respected me enough to do the right thing. So I was successful. Now that I've told the story before, but it's important that people know that that chief of police who supported me left his career last spring because of what happened to me. He knew I was set up by my ex-husband. He left his career because he was disgusted. So this is happening more and more. I talked to him after he left the force, and he said, "I am so sorry that I couldn't help you more. My hands were tied." And he said, you know, your ex he's very evil, and he's into a lot of evil things. So we had a private conversation. He validated everything. And I just appreciate him stepping out, because I know now they're probably going after him, and that's how this stuff works. Yeah. But at least I got that much. So if you have proof and you request a meeting, And oftentimes it's the secretary to the police chief that you can get to. And you request a meeting to show your proof, but it has to be organized. And you have to have good, solid proof. Then they will give you the time, and you call that secretary, ask her if you can set up a meeting with the chief. That's what I did, and I was successful. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I want to also. Here's a suggestion. All right, for the gentleman who's trying to get people together on his site and give them each other's email so they can support each other. Also ask these people to give you their state. Okay, so let's say there are 5 people who find themselves in Georgia. Then they can get together and they can each file police reports and refer to the other police reports filed and then take it to state authorities. Or maybe there are 2 or 3 or 5 in the same town. And they say, each of them goes to the police department and they go, oh, you're crazy, this isn't happening to you. Then they find out that 4 other people have told the police this is happening. Then they're going to be hard-pressed to deny help. And if they do, then you take it above to the state level and you find people in other cities in Georgia and get together and you present this on a state level and say, why are you not helping us? So this is a really good reason to try to get in touch with people in your state so you can organize not only supporting each other, but doing some of this, where you get your ducks in a row, you file complaints like Midge said, and then you go back to the police with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 other people and say, why are you not helping any of us? Because we are not all imagining the same thing.
Yeah. On my list, what I ask for is first, of course, it's all voluntary. First name, last name, yes. Email, phone, city, state or province, and country. And then anybody can go look at the database, and find who they need in their area, and it's totally searchable too.
Excellent.
And Richard Lighthouse had a suggestion. He said you need to file a FOIA request with your local police department. And he, just so you have that in your record, he says what that's going to force them to do is they're going to treat you with kid gloves. They're going to have to go around that FOIA request should anything else happen to you and you have more evidence. So it sets them up, put them on notice. And so I have not done that myself, but I'm going to.
Karen, I'm curious, what part of Arizona are you in?
Oh, Midge is in Arizona.
Midge is in Arizona.
What?
I'm in Arizona. This is Midge.
But what part? Because I'm in Arizona, too.
Oh, I'm in the Phoenix area.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, we've got quite a few people in that area.
Yes. Oh, my gosh, yes.
You should be able to raise hell.
It's so corrupt, absolutely. You get everyone together, go to the FBI, start demanding. I know that when I go by myself, it's not going to be very effective, but at least I got a little bit farther this time than I did the last time. And those words that they said to me, they didn't have to say any of that. They could have just blown me off, but they were respectful enough to validate what I was showing them and telling them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the problem is that like you said before, the power structure is designed to protect one another and not us. And you can see by the recent pardon, that happened. We saw it in the news. I'm not going to mention names, where corruption is just covered up by one another in order to avoid the justice system.
I did have a judge tell me that she was also being stalked because they put pressure on the judges. She got down off her bench, and I was helping a friend in court one day who's deaf. She got off her bench, came over to me because, she knew me and whispered something very significant in my ear. And then I heard that another judge that I know, his wife is being stalked. So that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they pressure them.
They turn it to the attorneys as well. So they go after anybody and everybody who doesn't go along with their wishes.
Yeah. So frustrating because we know that there are laws in place. It's not like we have to get new laws written. Just like you were saying before about we have a Bill of Rights, and a lot of those rights are already being demolished, we don't need to write new laws when we have perfectly good ones already in place.
Exactly. And this is dereliction of duty when they refuse to enforce the laws. They have no right to do that, and there are federal laws that will go against state and local officials who refuse to exercise their duties. And that can be attacked through the civil rights laws, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I want to say
civil rights.
I'm sorry, Karen. I wanted to add that I'm just a big proponent of making use of my camera phone. And because what it does is it's not just me trying to explain to outsiders what's happening to me, and and being put in a position of being delusional or crazy or some of these other labels. I resort to my camera where they can see it with their own eyes, and with that, I have so much footage. I did go out also finally and purchased an acoustimeter, which also shows, the radio frequencies that I'm being hit with also inside and outside. I've shown, and it's at its maximum, from the inside of my of my home, and then I go outside and it's showing the same numbers on the outside at maximum levels. But I have countless pictures of helicopters, doing circles basically around my head, my car, from place to place, over the house, just constant, just harassment. Police, so I went into one of the senators here in Florida. I'm in Florida, office this past week. I'm waiting for a call back from the other one to do the same thing with Senator Rubio's office. But went in, decided to go in, do the paperwork, to let them look into my complaint. I did a police department complaint, and right now it's at the stage of being processed. It had to go to Tallahassee to be assigned a caseworker, but I have all of my footage in hand to submit to their office, and then they, you have to fill out the paperwork so they could represent you, and looking into what's happening with you, I guess legally, to find out what they can find out about you on a personal level or legal level. So once they do that background check, because I'm not a criminal and there's no justification for what I'm about to present to them on film, then obviously, once they're able to put the fact that I'm not a criminal and all of these things are happening to me that I have videos to support, it's not just me telling them, then they have to figure out why is it happening to me, which violates my civil rights. There's no way of getting around that. If you find that there's no reason for this stuff to happen that I have filmed, that I'm going to present to your office, then tell me why is this happening to me? Why am I being harassed by the police? If you found that that my record is clean and it shouldn't support this kind of behavior. So I'm gonna, so right now they're my representation to look into my background and tell me why these things are happening to me that I have proof by way of video. And I was promised to be able to be contacted within a week. So right now I'm just waiting for them to do, the processing, looking into my history, and then assign this caseworker. Then I can present Karen's letter also, and all of my video footage that they can see the harassment and to the radio frequencies, attacks by way of an acoustimeter that supports that. It's not me just explaining that I'm being hit by radio frequencies. Here's an acoustimeter that supports, the fact that something strange here is happening with me. At the places that I go, I'm in my car, I'm getting maximum attacks in my car, in my house, outside of my house. It's the same, same attacks. So why is it everywhere I go, I'm being hit at maximum levels by way of this acoustimeter showing you this? It's not just my word against, trying to convince you. So I'm anxious to see now everybody's directed me to. I've written to whistleblower senators, and contacted everybody just like everybody else has, and everybody directed me back to my state. I'm following all the guidelines and the direction that everybody's pointed me to. Now I'm in my state with the representative senator's office, and now the ball is in your court now. This is where everybody said I should be. I'm here. Now what? That's what.
But just imagine if 3 or 4 other people from Florida, or 10, do exactly what you're doing, and then it all ends up back at these 2 senators' offices. It's undeniable that there is gross dereliction of duty.
That's right. So, I just support getting it, pull out your cell phones. Usually you might not get it all. There's a lot I've missed, believe me. I wish I could have gotten it all, but I got enough to show that there's something desperately wrong here. And you're going to look into my background to see that my record is squeaky clean, and why am I being harassed like this? And they asked, and on the paperwork it also says, what do I expect his office to do for me? And I said, to find out why, get it to cease, and to be able to restore my civil rights. That's what I expect your office to do for me.
Very good. Very good. We need to be proactive. I mean, really and truly, we don't need somebody saying, oh, you can't possibly do this. Let's just all go sit in a corner and cry. No, we don't need that. We need to all say, look, maybe if I do something, it's one person. But if I combine efforts, if 3 other people can point to my case and their cases, we're establishing a pattern of bad behavior. We're establishing that police departments all over Florida or Texas or wherever, they're using up taxpayer money to fly sorties over my house. Why my house? Show me any type of call from my neighborhood anywhere near my house that says there's a burglar or there's a rapist. Show me where that call is. Oh, there's no call? Then what were you doing flying over my house 5 times last week?
Karen, I've even followed the helicopter, from where it just stalked me at my house, and then it starts to follow me in the direction I'm going. And as I'm driving, the helicopter is trailing me, and I'm scanning the streets in the process to show where is the criminal activity around here. Where is it? Why are you here? So I've got quite a bit, and I can't wait. I can't wait to be able to present it. I'm gonna I'm gonna press play and let you see it for yourself. So you can't put this delusional label on me. An acoustimeter isn't delusional. My video cell phone isn't delusional. So where do we go from here?
Exactly. You push them in a corner, and if everybody pushes their people in their state in a corner, then we've got something. Then people are hard-pressed to deny us help. And even maybe newspapers. If you go to a newspaper as one person, they may blow you off. But if you go as 5 people, 10 people, same kind of story, same kind of evidence, then demand to know why this isn't a story they're covering. This is civil rights.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's where you're there. That's what these agencies, these politicians are there to protect our civil rights. And like you, we demand that you do your job. What are you doing? If this doesn't warrant your obligation, your attention, then what does? What does? What are you doing if you're denying us? What are you doing?
Mhm.
Instead of.
And who said somebody could take away my civil rights, my constitutional rights, my human rights? Who died and made you God?
Right.
Because those are mine. I was born into them.
That's right. There's too many people that died for us to have our civil rights, for some sociopaths to be able to take them away. And
exactly.
and we we deserve for, if we're saying that there's some good guys out there, then where are they? If you stand by and watch criminal activity, then you're aiding and abetting. And just to say that they're not, everybody's not doing it. Well, everybody isn't doing it, but why as good people are we allowing this cancer to spread before it gets out of hand? You owe it to yourself, your families, the citizens of this country to stop it, and not just idly just let these criminals just have their way with all of us. Where is your conscience? The good guys. Where is your conscience? You're just as bad as the bad guy if you have no conscience.
I'd like to add something to what you just said. There's a lot of people that I've talked to here in Oregon that would help us out, but it all results back to public awareness. I mean, the congressmen, the chiefs, sheriffs and stuff, the people that will back us and help us, they know they need more public support, more people aware of this crime in the public so they can stand up and back us. Otherwise, they know that they'll just become, them and their families will become a victim just like us. So that's why it's so important for us to get out there and do public awareness campaigns. And, I mean, imagine if we had, every city had 10 TIs out passing out flyers and handing out, and people doing anonymous emails with flyers to different corporations and doctors and stuff. This problem would go away, relatively quick instead of like it's been for the last 12 years. People really are stuck in a perpetual loop. If you think about it and you get onto the talk shows, I quit getting on it so much because it kind of gets depressing. I know people need to talk about it, but when you spend so much time, and I'm positive with all this research and the studying I've done, the perps want us to get on and talk about it. It's calls like this that they get concerned about. This is when they get a little wild. But when people just knowingly talk about it and do nothing, that's part of the program. I mean, we've got to overcome that and get out there. And I truly believe, guys, the only way that we're really going to get this, Brian Kaufman came forward, and the first thing I started hearing about people when I talked about passing out flyers is, why should we? He came forward, it's going to end soon. Well, that's not the case, because we need the public to be aware of it in order to get new laws, to get people to back us.
But what I'm, and I get that. Believe me, that's what we have to do. But this shouldn't be our job. We have made enough complaints over the past how many years? Some of us have been attacked for 30 years. There's been enough complaints for somebody to come forward, a politician, somebody to say something's going on here. Let's look into it, and without them being afraid. If you are afraid as a politician, then you don't need to be in office. You're supposed to be in it to protect citizens at all costs. What are you there for? If you're afraid as a politician, get out of the business.
Yeah, that's the primary reason government exists, is to protect you.
But they're not.
Oh, exactly.
It shouldn't be about
it's the love of money that corrupts things so badly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's, and that's what's sad, because we have allowed the bad guy to take over when there is supposedly just as many good people, to outnumber them. How did we allow the bad guy to take control? To sit by idly give an excuse about being afraid, that's unacceptable to me. You can't be afraid in certain positions when you are sworn to serve and protect your community. I don't accept being afraid in that position, especially. No way.
No. And, people have said, oh, well, I'm not going to be part of this, I'm going to quit, whether it's a police department that's corrupt or whether it's part of a gang stalking, Well, what good does that do us? No, you don't walk away and say, I'm not doing it. You try to stop it,
Right. I guess I'm
yeah, but not everybody's that brave.
Well, and that's the problem. And then what do we get? Then all of us, the whole planet, is infected with this crap.
Yes.
By somebody being afraid. By the time you muster up some guts, it'll be too late. You have to act on things at the root cause. When you start getting complaints, you're obligated to look into it. Are you afraid as soon as somebody writes you a letter? Come on. They've gotten enough complaints. This shouldn't be our job trying to rally up Tom, Dick, and Harry, our neighbors, to rally behind us. That's not our job. It shouldn't have been, rather. It is now, but it shouldn't have been. So, if politicians are afraid, then we're all doomed for sure, because you're in a position to change things, and you won't because you're too afraid. We might as well.
Well, how did Nazi Germany happen? I mean, that's how Nazi Germany happened. Everyone didn't want to believe, was too afraid. This is the human condition. So we have to fight against our own human condition and hope that it doesn't come down, in a way that we can't counter eventually. I'm really scared because it puts so much power in individuals' hands that people did not previously have. These technologies are so advanced, and they get into individuals' hands, and it's really a terrifying prospect.
Oh yeah.
And
they put it in the hands of the worst people possible.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
And then in the hands of people who really have no idea what they're doing, they don't understand the consequence of their actions, they are in over their heads, etc. Sorry.
That's what being afraid does. It allows it to strengthen and continue. And at the cost of the entire planet. When are we going to decide? Okay, it's time to do something. That's what's a shame. We have a choice in saving ourselves, and we don't. And we give excuses of being afraid of not wanting to involve ourselves. And all you're doing is allowing yourself and your families to one day become a victim, like it or not.
Yes.
We didn't ask to be here, and you're not going to ask to be there. But it's going to come back to your doorstep, because we're all connected. We're all connected, and they're on this path of destruction.
I think there's some marketing that we should be doing, saying, we are the vanguard. We are the vanguard.
Well, let me give you this option. I can make T-shirts. I have a site on cafepress.com. You give me ideas, I will make the T-shirts. I already have a lot of T-shirts there, but I will customize any type of T-shirts you guys want to go with. You think about some kind of, thrust to say we want T-shirts that say this. I will make those for you, and then I will put the profit margin to 0.
Okay, so a whole bunch of websites have been talked about at this point. Can we stop and actually say what these websites are? Because I have my pencil, but I don't know what they are. Like, for instance, could we start with the petition web address?
Oh, let me see if I can find it. I don't have it on me right now, but it's at the White House.
Address I'm looking for. I'm looking for the web address of the guy who's talking about putting the list together.
That guy. That is Stop Gang Stalking. I think it's Stop. Gosh, I get him confused. StopGangStalking.com.
No, it's StopGangStalkingCrimes.com.
Okay. There's a few that just alike.
And if you guys are looking for Karen's paper she was talking about, it's already posted at my website. If you go to the TI connection part for TIs of my website, it's under the forms and petitions, and it's in PDF form. You guys can view it, download it, and when I get a link to where it's on the web, I'll put a link there too for you guys.
Okay,
and I'll put it on our website.
If we could get the web address of the actual petition itself in this phone call, I would really like that.
Okay, and then
the other thing,
did you have a question, Terry? Did you have a question?
Let me look for it. I will look for it. Hold on.
Okay. And didn't you have a question, Terry, about if she had that on change.org?
There is one on change.org
I think that's what Karen's looking for now, is where she has it. And if Karen, if you want to ever give me a call, I think you got my number, but and talk to me about T-shirts. I would like to talk to you more about that if you can make them at some point in time, because I I promote T-shirts, and I have one that directed energy weapons used on targeted individuals, and it says "Learn the Truth," and has my website on. Ask for a flyer. I can honestly tell you guys, when I wear that going downtown or someplace, I usually get at least 10 people a day that approach me and ask me for information. So T-shirts are highly effective, people. They really are. Plus the signs on my cars. I've put new signs up on my cars, and many times throughout the week, people will be standing out there asking me questions, wanting information. I think signs on autos and wearing T-shirts and passing out flyers is going to be our way to beat this. I truly believe the only thing that can stop us from bringing this to light is ourselves.
Who's talking?
And I can make
StopGangStalkingCrimes.com person?
In New York, you have background noise. New York.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's my. I'm in my car. Sorry, with the air on. I also want to say I think car magnets are a great idea. It's advertising for wherever you go. Oh, that's great. I made up a couple of T-shirts where I had them made locally. On the one side it says, "I am not an experiment," and on the other side it says, "Stop radio frequency abuse," in both big letters. So, and I wear them in the grocery store, shopping from place to place. So, but car magnets, that's something that I haven't done yet, and I think that would work too, because you're at stoplights, people, take notice, whatever, when you're driving. So it gives a lot of territory, also with the car magnets, signs.
Well, let me tell you about what happened in Tallahassee, Florida, when NSA basically came down to Tallahassee and got the InfraGard, through the Fusion Center to start stalking me. I put bumper magnets on the car that made them look up the links. And I would see through my rear view window, the person would pull out a tablet or a phone as we were sitting behind a red light and type in, very obviously they were looking at the letters on the bumper magnet, typing it in to see what it was this terrible person was advertising. And I would see numerous people roll their eyes or shake their heads, knowing they had been played for fools. And I cannot tell you how many people quit following me, turned around, and left.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to also add to that. When I started putting the signs on my rig, guys, and wearing my T-shirts and passing out flyers, I kid you not, I now have no stalkers. There's a few incidents where people do a little theater or something. It's mostly by a rogue person that decided they wouldn't give up. That is very limited. But all the constant day-to-day stalking, the street theater, the noise campaigns, and all that stuff, it all went away. All of it.
Is this scary?
That's very important. Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to follow who's who. Are you the one that has the website?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. This is Hope.
You're welcome.
So, guys, the lady, and I don't know if she's around, Cindy, that mentioned, I think that's her name, that Twitter campaign, and Karen's got a start date for her letter. Let's let these calls, result to some action after we hang up, just to be, and if any volunteers, let's volunteer to do things or commit to, okay, I'll sign a petition, something, because our conversations are great. There's some great ideas, but before we have to be able to really start moving some things. That Twitter campaign was a great idea also. If we could get that up and going also, and like I said, Karen's petition.
Noise.
Guys.
Noise, guys.
Yeah. Sorry, that was unknown.
Okay. Frank is working on his FBI petition. Let's get these things up and running. That's the whole point of these phone calls.
Listen, I found the link. I found the link for anybody who has a pen and paper for the White House one. I do have a change.org one, but I will give you the White House one, which is actually more important because if we get a certain number, the White House has to respond. I think if we get 2,000 or more signatures. So if we can have the noise stop, then I'll give you the link. Okay, so it is https://petitions.whitehouse.gov/petition/take.
Wait, what was that word?
Take, Take, and I'm going to read it to you and then go back. Take me, and it should be off your fraud enemies list, but it says take me your fraud enemies list. So it's take, TAKE, dash, me, dash, your, dash, fraud, dash, enemies, dash, list.
Okay, great. And then the Cafe Press, what's that website address? For the
yeah, there are
thing?
several, and this is intermixed, and I have to apologize to people who are not conservative like I am. So some of it I put political stuff, so just ignore it if you're not conservative, and we're not doing politics here. But I did some under cafepress.com / and there are several shops. One of them is Angry Squirrel Graphics.
Angry World Graphics.
Angry Squirrel Graphics. That's
Angry
one
Squirrel.
shop.
Squirrel.
Angry Squirrel. And if you look under the one bumper sticker that is shown, there are multiple bumper stickers under that one. There's not just one bumper sticker. There are multiple ones. And another shop is www.cafepress.com /Silent Holocaust.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
And if we wanted one, we would just put you a note there.
You can buy from Cafe Press whatever you want, but if you have an idea that you want to see on a T-shirt or anything else, then shoot me an email at KAMS56@me.com.
Okay. Can I repeat
and
that?
I will make
you said it earlier, and I wasn't sure I heard it right. KAMS as in Sam 56@me.com.
Right, because it's my initials, Karen Ann Melton Stewart. 56 is the year I was born, and then at me.com, which is an Apple address.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Hi,
certainly,
guys.
And like I said, you guys have ideas, you tell me, and I'll put them out there for you.
Awesome.
Is it too much to ask for a contact list maybe given to the moderators that we can work with? Because with hopefully the projects that are happening now and in the future, it makes for an easier way to get petitions going, whatever's out here, by being able to shoot the information to each person's email. If we have to work through a moderator, if you feel comfortable just giving your email address and phone number and state to the moderators, that way we have a place of going to get all of this information, because sometimes it's difficult to write down. Okay, I'm sorry. That I was just hoping for an easier route in everybody being able to receive, petition information, everything that's coming up on the agenda. Hopefully, an easier route, like a contact list that maybe just the moderators can have, and at least we can be given the information by way of maybe a mass emailing, and then all you do is click on and vote and do whatever, and sign a petition, something other than just, trying to get it one person at a time, maybe writing it or not being able to get it over the podcast for whatever reasons, not having a pen handy or whatever. Just some kind of a contact list, to even it helps with numbers. How many of us are out here and hopefully getting involved or trying to get involved with something as simple as hopefully signing a petition, because our numbers count, and right now, it's just hard to know if these things are getting support or not, but we're at a place of desperation, I would think. Every person matters. Everybody matters, and everybody, we need everybody's help because we're all we have right now. So,
yes.
But I was just wondering if there's a way of having a contact list developed. Maybe with just
I was just going to say, as far as the contact list, I put together a buddy list. My forms are open to everybody. It does have a petition page. It was set up so you guys can put petitions and stuff as you find across it, and then people can just go click to the links. I'm in this fight to win it, so if you guys need a page made where we can just have it to share information, develop something like that, that's why I put together the buddy list. I'm actually working on the TI memorial page today, adding names that all of you people have sent to me to help me update it. I'm willing to do whatever we need to do to win this. So, I'm not trying to make my site the all of everything, because I've been sending out emails and talking to leaders and organizers in the community for some time now about getting some way to work together so that we can all keep our information updated and stuff. And but if you go take advantage of the forums at my site, anybody can put the petition up there. If anybody wants to share things or put links of what they can help the community out, I really encourage you guys to do that. But you're right, we got to start sharing information. We got to start getting organized. It's the only way that we're going to beat this, guys. It is the only way.
Yeah, and Terry, I'm with you on that. On our website, the freedomfortargetedindividuals.org, when you get to it, it says current action and events. And if you click on that, that'll be where all the petitions are, what's going on now, what's coming up shortly, and important information. So, I too, Terry, both, and we should link. I think we're linked now, are we, our sites?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I'll do the same too.
Listen,
I send out announcements, so I will include a link to Terry's exact page where this information is, and I'll also put a link to the current action and events, so that way people can check it for updates whenever they choose, or and then also I try to include links when I send announcements from my Gmail, but lately they're really funny about it. They come back as spam if I have too many links in there, which is why I had to redo them and keep them very simplified, just to, talk about what guest is coming, which is unfortunate because I like putting important, relevant links in there. But then I still have, Terry and I both have that. You're allowed to send two announcements out a month, and I definitely put as much as I can on that. So.
What does two announcements a month mean?
When if you get emails from me, people are like, I'm not getting as many emails, but it's a special service, and that we both have the same website host, I guess.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's a newsletter. You can pay for an upgrade for that if you want. I've thought about doing it. But basically what it gives us the option. It's either 4 or 5 newsletters a week. I might go to the next option, and that way we can send out some other emails, but our newsletters in case of emergencies or something big that comes up or something. But I really encourage you guys to go around to all the sites. It doesn't cost anything to join my site. I don't charge you any fees or nothing. You go sign up and you'll get a newsletter once a week, and there is just so much that we can do if we network together. We have an army, guys. We really do. We have an army of people out there. But one thing that I've seen in my research and stuff, we got people that are working on the front lines and stuff, and there's never been a war in history that's been won by the generals and everything fighting out. They just don't sit down in a room and do this. It's the people on the ground floor that's going to get out and put the signs up and wear T-shirts and the flyers. That's the real way we're going to do this. But the way that we can best help you out is, like the lady was saying, is networking, make sure we get the information out to you guys. And that's why I work very hard on changing, and when I get positive ideas and things to do, I try to add them as quickly. But on the other hand of that, it's like the buddy list. I even get emails to people that talk about the buddy list, but they say they'd like to get a hold of people. Anybody can go look at the buddy list, but they don't add their name to it, and then they wonder what's going on. So it's great that we talk about all this, but one of the other things that's been mentioned several times by many different people on this call is people have to get involved. I mean, we got to stop being scared. We got to get involved. We got to start driving forward. And one of the ways we're going to do for a lot of people is just start getting out and living your day. Trust me, once you start getting out and living your day, and I'm sure there's a couple of people here that's handed out flyers, they'll tell you, that re-empowers your life. When you start fighting back, you're going to get that sense of your life coming back to you. You're going to start feeling, you're not going to feel like a victim anymore. You're going to be a survivor at that point. You're going to be the person that's going out and going to overcome this, and that's what we really need from everybody. And I realize some people aren't going to be able to do that, but you're right, and it's been said many times, we got to start networking the leaders, and we got to get more TIs out there to do the basic stuff, because like my goal is to pass out 10,000 flyers this summer. I'm somewhere around 6,000 so far. And
wow.
So
great job. If
everybody sets a goal to do something, even a little bit, even if you send out one email a day or handed out one flyer, you're doing something. And I please encourage you all to do it. And like I said, once again, if we need to change pages up or we come up with a better idea, or maybe I'll add a current events page, I think the forums is a great way for you guys to communicate, and the buddy list. If there's something better that comes up, I can delete something, we can do something new. But I really encourage you guys, just get involved, listen to what Karen's saying, listen to what your leaders are saying, and get involved. And the more we communicate the people that are out in the front, the better we can get information and get response. And the more of you that respond, the quicker that we will overcome this crime. Trust me, it will not be another 12 years.
And with that, can I make an announcement? Karen, can you make this announcement with me? What we're doing tomorrow, Karen and I are going to be on a new radio show being interviewed to someone who has reached out to us. And they heard our interviews on the Sean Caron show. And so we had a lovely lady who reached out to Karen and I, and she is now a new friend. She is not a target, but she understands exactly what's going on completely. Right, Karen?
Yes, she's an awake person, which is what we're seeking to make the rest of the United States awake.
Awake, and she's awesome, totally awesome, supports us. And so she has asked Karen and I to be on an interview tomorrow, and it is called A Decision, and it's with
Call to what?
It's called Call to Decision, but there's another name, Karen, the traveling. What is it called? The traveling radio show?
Oh, I would have to look it up. I'm sorry.
Yes. Anyhow, so it's out of Indiana. I can try to post that information on different websites before we have our interview. But what I'm saying is that now what's happening is that it is getting out there. We have people coming to us who are not in our community, who are now, they understand what's going on. They're trying to get the word out for us. So this is huge. I feel like this is a huge step.
Can you post that on your Facebook page, and then we can, those of us who are friends can find it?
Yes, we can do that. Unfortunately, I'm not home right now with my computer. So, but Karen, if you could, that would be great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for where I put it, and I will put on the Facebook page and announce
it. So it's getting out there, and I mean, just to have the support of this radio station is huge.
That's awesome.
It's huge.
Can you guys send me that info so I can post it and put it out whenever you guys are doing something like that? I'm not on Facebook anymore to look at it because Facebook shut me down.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that
tomorrow. Yeah. Is that interview
Sunday,
tomorrow? Yeah.
Yes, Sunday, 7
tomorrow.
p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, so 4 o'clock. Okay.
Hey, before we close, can I ask another question? Hello?
Sure. Go ahead.
You guys mentioned an FBI petition, but I don't know anything about that. Where's that?
Oh, Frank, I guess, is making it. Frank in Massachusetts.
Okay, so wait and hear on that.
Yeah, he's his email is what, Frank the Archer? Let me see if I can find him.
Yeah.
He's targeted
Frank
in
dot
Massachusetts?
thearcher@gmail.com.
Sorry.
Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to say, and then I'll shut up, but I think it's like really, really important. We should be petitioning the ACLU and calling them out for their complete denial of what is happening. I mean, of all organizations in the nation, that one should be championing our cause, and we should really pelt them with Twitter and emails and letters, etc.
I agree.
Because they have the ear of everybody.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree with the cases they take, everyone listens to what the ACLU is involved with.
Yeah. Well, they basically, years ago in Maryland, NSA Security sent people to stalk and harass ACLU members in Maryland. And so the Maryland ACLU is next to nothing. They were totally cowed. And so I think that is what has gotten throughout their organization, and it's fear.
Well, but you know who's coming on strong?
We need to challenge them just the way we have to live with it. They have to live with it.
But you know who's coming on strong, and they have filed several lawsuits now against the Obama administration, is Judicial Watch. And so if you follow them on Twitter, you'll see what they're doing. They are coming on strong. So
well, are they going to help us? I mean, has anyone approached them for us?
Well, that's just it. I mean, we're all trying to do different things and stuff, but I'm just saying that, because you just don't know who to go to. But as I see it, what I've been watching is that they are now coming forward. And so I think that might be obviously someone to get in touch with. They do know what's going on. I mean, this is not a secret. This really is not.
Right, it's not. And like, I mean, in my opinion, so I know the Karen's conservative, I'm a liberal. ACLU should be ashamed, absolutely ashamed.
Yes.
Of their inaction.
They all should. Everybody should.
Oh yeah.
Everybody should be ashamed, but it's
this is not
it's
Germany where everybody's
if you go and you pick it outside their offices and you say, or whatever, I just think this should go in the hopper as an idea that could get us somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you shame the ACLU, then more things will happen.
Right.
I wonder if we send letters to the ACLU and CC, the other the organization we were talking about. Yes,
that's hilarious.
And then,
that's a great idea.
And send it to just Judicial Watch and then CC ACLU.
I think that's a great idea.
And make it obvious to them.
I think that's a great idea.
Because it says basically which one of you are going to get off your butts and help us.
I think that is a great idea. And help yourselves, because this is the thing that people don't understand. We are the vanguards. We are telling you what the future is going to be like. It's not just that we're victims. We are the messengers. And that puts us in a whole, we have a responsibility. We know what the future is now. We live it. So we have a responsibility to be telling people. And I think we should not only be looking at ourselves in a role as victim, but also in our role as, the messenger, the vanguard, whatever, which really gives us much more power, in our self-image. Because I can get in a really bad pity state for being attacked all the time and, mobbed everywhere. Mine is pretty bad. I'm sure everybody's is. But when I put things in the light of we are the messengers, it really empowers me and gives me more energy to go, through stuff. And I have to say, it is very, very hard. When my son is not in my house, he is today, they blast me so hard I can hardly think. It's horrible. It's with sound. It's with everything. I mean, I'm just confused and
Yeah.
everything. And they won't do it when he's here to the same degree. But I know that a lot of people have that as a problem for moving forward. And, you just like, there's stuff I started months ago that I can't finish because I start on it and then they put the low sounds in and the tinnitus stuff starts and, I just get so confused. Getting to a sentence is very difficult. But anyway, the main thing I want to say is when I can grab those moments that I'm controlling the environment more than it's controlling me, it is really helpful to think that we have a message to the whole world that this is happening. Our message is not just about us.
Right, exactly. Because I hate to say this, as soon as they knock off one of us or force us into suicide, they load up the list with yet more people.
Exactly, and there seems to be no end of perpetrators. So,
right,
no end of them. It is astonishing to me. This thing must be so sick.
It is.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to me. I'm going to hang up. Oh, sorry.
Sure. Oh no problem.
I have to hang
Thank you so much.
I need to be with my child now, and I want to thank everybody so much.
Thank you, Hope.
Being on the calls with you guys gives me so much hope, and I really have been in very, very desperate situations. So I just wanted to thank everybody so much.
Thank you for hanging in because you inspire us.
Have a good one.
Okay, guys. Well, it's 2 now. I'm going to just give it like 10 more minutes if you guys want to, if you have any closing statements or anything that let me know. I'm going to, as I said, I have 1 more week on Uber, and then I'm going to start that the online radio show, and that's going to be on. It's going to start actually not this next, but the Sunday after that. So I won't have this Uber call anymore. And I'll send out all the information on how to get on there, and of course you can participate too. So I look forward to that.
Yay, Ella! That's huge, you guys. Ella's getting this show. That's awesome.
I'm happy.
Yeah, that's great, Ella. I do have one thing I wanted to add for everybody before you guys close the call out is there's been so many people asking for flyers and stuff, and I've been sending out packages with some documents and flyers and stuff to people. That I'm going to put a request form on my website so you guys can fill it out, and that way I can keep better track of who wants flyers. So that'll be up within the next couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Linda, that was a great call you had last night. I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you, Matthew, and Mike Mason's not on the call. That is very informative.
So. Thank you. I got a little annoyed with a few people, but I
the usual. No.
Oh, but I want to say, Karen, you are one very brave lady. I keep telling you that, and I really mean it. And I'm not just saying that because, gosh, it sounds good. I really mean that. It kind of blows me away. And that article about you that you posted on Facebook, that investigative reporter, journalist, whoa, that's such a powerful article. Thank you so much for posting that. It really gave me a better understanding of what you're going through, and again, how brave you've been. It just kind of boggles the mind. I get afraid for my existence, and I read that and I thought, oh my God,
she's a warrior.
Well, Jedi. If you can do it, we can do it. No, that didn't come out right, but we can do this. I mean, you are just in there fighting your little heart out. Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys. I cannot even begin to tell you the friendship and the kindness and the support that I've gotten all along the way. Yeah. And I really appreciate it.
You guys are bonding. We are bonding. We are family,
We are.
Oh, I think
That's
so.
Right. Absolutely.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Cindy.
Right. Did you have an interview with Karen today? Hi, Karen. This is Cindy in Sacramento. How you doing today, everyone? Hi. She is phenomenal. Karen is a blessing, and I think that she's a glue that we need. She's one of the ones, and she's very humble. and I appreciate her humility and her kindness and love towards all of us. And Karen, and then she extended herself even further and spoke to the governor's office this past week, and they listened to her for an hour. And then they patched it through to other offices. I know, because people were coming in on the end of the call. And I just thank you, Karen, for spreading yourself out like that, and then also and sharing your testimony and some of the scientific issues around this big program, this issue here. And maybe we might even be able to get her on Alex Jones working on it, Karen. Hopefully we can get you there.
Well, thank you,
right.
And thank you for the opportunity for speaking to, I think it was Adrian from the governor's office.
Right.
Thank you so much. I don't have those connections, and you made it happen, so I really appreciate it.
It took some blood, sweat, and tears, because people don't want to believe us, and I'm asking people not to call Adrian, please, because he's not going to take well, I don't want to say crazy. I just want to, please honor that, because that's an avenue for us to get laws against this horrible, horrid crime. And that took me a lot of time to work on that. So I love you guys, and please abide by that, because he has said, that thing as well. He has said, please don't call, inappropriately. But Karen was wonderful, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
If I could, while you've still got some time, this is EMF Linda. I'd like to make a couple of comments, and thank you, Karen. You are great, and Midge and Rochelle and Cindy, and everybody. You are all singing my song that we need to do something about it. The making demands. Cindy, it's very interesting that you got Karen in touch with Governor Brown's office.
Yes, thank you for clarifying that, EMF. Thank you for that, Linda.
Right. But here's what you need to know. I've been mentioning, I've been talking about this Senate Bill 649 a few times in the recent past. And the thing is, despite 291 cities being opposed to it, and over half of the counties opposing it in California, and also the League of Cities opposing it, the damn thing passed. It passed out of the Appropriations Committee yesterday.
Congratulations! Good job.
But no, she doesn't like it. What is the measure? What was it, quickly? Like seconds?
I thought it was something.
What it is, it's going to cook us more. It's raising the heat of what it will allow. It was written by the telecom industry in order to bypass local authorities, bypass the permitting process in the cities and the counties, and the placement of antennas on the stop signs and the utility poles anywhere the telecommunications industry wants to place them, anywhere, and to accommodate 5G. It is raising the heat. We are all going. It is turning. It's just cooking us. We're going from medium well done to really well done, and it needs to be stopped.
Well, Linda, you know what? That's why. It's on my heart to speak to one particular senator and one particular assembly person, and because of the power of my family and that they're against abuse to any people group, especially agricultural workers. So we have a lot of pull, and that's what I'm going to do is fight that then. That's just another thing. That's just going to be another piece of the pie that needs to be cut out and thrown down the garbage disposal, okay? So you can't give up hope.
You need to find out what it is, so that, it's a pretty simple thing. It is what I said it is. It's bypassing regulatory agencies, which is the city and the county. It's a gift to the telecom industry. It's just empowering them.
We're going to take Christmas away from them. We're going to take.
Well, the thing is, it's another thing you need to.
Yeah.
Literally being electrocuted, cooked by the antennas, the frequencies. So we don't need more of them. But here's what I'm thinking, Cindy. Thank you again for setting up that communication with Karen Stewart. Anyway, it's the governor. Ultimately, if this continues, apparently where this bill is going to go next, it's got to go again for a vote before the Assembly and the Senate, only because my local representative.
You know what? Somebody said that we need to put faces on the victims, and that was on Linda's call last night, I think, or on the call in the past couple days. If we can give a face, and maybe we can get it to people like the girl in the backyard. What was her name? Anybody know her name? We need to get to people who were technologically abused. She was abused in that backyard in Contra Costa County, and she won a lawsuit. She won a lawsuit, Linda.
Basically, people need to know that this like Rochelle's wonderful T-shirt, the back that said something about radio frequency abuse. We are being assaulted, we are literally being...
And Terry's T-shirts and the flyers. Yeah. But to get to the lawmakers, okay, and the Senate, and have it be, because I know Ella wants to close down, it's to get the precedent set, and especially in the Ninth Circuit Court here, basically then when we go for a lawsuit, Supreme Court, if we hit the Ninth Circuit, if anybody's going to do that one, we can marry up the cases. That's the important thing.
All right,
I think
Karen, if I could just have a couple more minutes.
Okay,
please.
Go ahead.
Anyway, the point is, like I said, this is going to go the Assembly and got to go before the Senate. If it passes them, which God only knows how it's doing it, the money, the telecom, then it will go to the governor, Governor Brown. He needs to be educated. You all need to contact him, and he needs to get his mind right. About not only is this cooking us all, it's going to cook us even more. It's a shift to the liability. Once those antennas are placed on the state-owned stop signs and utility poles, they will then bear the liability for the injury that is on us all. It is potential to potentially bankrupt the state of California. Harm that is done to the public.
But what you want to do is be careful how we speak to these legislators and these politicians, because the last thing you want to do is offend them. You don't want to offend them. I
don't give a crap about offending them. They need to be educated.
Welcome to the Saturday's Think Tank Call, Freedom for Targeted Individuals podcast. Today, I'm your moderator, Ella. This is our group and not mine. At the top of the discussion, we will make any activism announcement, discuss any letter-writing campaigns, discuss any legal matters and or developments. The goal is to inspire and implement, more importantly, ideas and come up with strategies to carry them out. If you'd like to speak, just ***. Here's a few points, basic guidelines to follow to keep the unity within the group. Please use common courtesy while discussing matters. Please allow the person to finish before speaking and responding. I suggest everyone keep a notepad close by to take notes or to write down questions while you're waiting to speak. Just be respectful. I think I could say it in a nutshell, just be respectful. This is an activism call, so it's important to remember the theme of the call. If you feel that it's urgent and you need immediate support, we can accommodate your request. Okay, on that note, we can start the discussion. So I'm going to unmute a few people that were unmuted. Matthew will unmute you. Let's see, Amy, I'm going to unmute you. You can let me know if you want to mute yourself again. Okay, so ***, because we do have, from what I understand, there's a little concern about the Unity and Hope Conference. In order for this conference to happen, I think they're looking for some commitments. There's just a little concern about the financial end of it. So maybe I can get Allison on the call. We can post this. Terry, I'm going to unmute you. Hopefully that's okay. Okay. Hi, Karen. Welcome to the call.
Hey.
How's everything going?
Well, enduring pretty much what the people in Cuba were enduring. So they went to Sonics a few weeks ago.
How did you know?
So that's a little, I can hear it. I mean, it's just it's very piercing. And so it's just much more difficult to shield against. But, I'm hanging in. And I wanted to tell people that I did just post a petition on the White House, .gov site. And yes, I know we've tried petitions before, but this is a rather lengthy one, and I'm rather given to being verbose, so I apologize. But what I did was I looked up all kinds of laws that they're breaking. And so I put in the petition that we basically demand that you stop doing this to us. And then I put all kinds of laws and reminded them that, according to Marbury versus Madison, which is a Supreme Court decision, any law passed in the United States or on U.S. territory that is unconstitutional is void, is just clearly void. One of the problems is that we are in a constitutional crisis at this point, and people think they have to obey a law that is unconstitutional. Well, they do not. So I listed several pages of laws that are being broken, and I put forth some rather stern and fierce demands. So if people want to go to the White House petition site and take a look, because this is very
all or nothing, do or die situation, and there's no way around it. We didn't ask to be in this program. These people are heartless, and we're not even being able to get support from our government, from anybody. So it's do or die for us. We're past the point of being afraid.
That's very true.
Well, once we stop being afraid, then we can go back to living our lives. I mean, that's a hard lesson even for me to learn. But I can tell you, the more people that we get out there on the streets and start passing out flyers and wearing T-shirts and signs, there's many people that I've talked to that say that they would not have gone to the internet and researched and realized what this crime was unless they were handed a flyer. And the fact that you hand a flyer to them, because some people say that they've heard the word and stuff, but they never, when they got home and stuff, they just never researched or looked into it. But with handing them a flyer, they said they actually had enough information they wanted to sit down and learn and find out what is going on, with it and do some research. So I think it's really important, and many people see the T-shirts that I wear that say "Ask for Flyer." They come up. The other day, I've been passing out some CDs of different people's interviews and statements about this crime too, so people can listen audio. I went to a park and there was a group of people playing one of the CDs I handed out when I walked up to them. I really believe that this is the right way to get the word out there, guys, and we just got to get over our fears and stuff and get out and do it like you're saying. But there's the vertical, because the program's designed to make you not want to tell anybody so that you're discredited and everything. And we got to get over that. The other day, I went and handed out, information packets and gave them to cops and stuff. I don't have any problem. Nobody calls me, insane or paranoid or anything. And actually, the police forces are starting, besides the ones that you can tell are involved in it, but the other officers are getting very responsive to me. I even had a Portland police officer say he knows some of his fellow officers are involved in this crime and they all deserve to be in jail. So, but we got to get out there and work at the ground floor. I really believe that's the way we're going to beat this, guys.
Yeah, we have to start supporting. And right now, I've been able to be in on a few great ideas. And we can't be afraid to make sure they're put to action. Karen Stewart has beautiful letters already written up. All it takes from each one of us is a signature to say, yes, I'm being heard out here. She's not the only one. There's all of us, and we should all feel obligated to save our own lives. Nobody's coming to our rescue right now. Nobody. And how many years has it been for some of us? 30 years. When is enough to stop being afraid? Karen has petitions out here, letters out here, beautifully written to support this cause. Frank just mentioned yesterday a website for the FBI to start doing complaints, a tsunami complaint there. That's a wonderful idea. Cindy on the last, I think her name is Cindy, on the last call mentioned Twitter, a tsunami Twitter campaign. So, and instead of just hoping that one person or two people email us, we're not going to get anywhere like that. We have to be able to connect and make it work for us, because nobody's breaking down the door to come to our rescue. There are quite a few good ideas out here now that need support, and it takes numbers, and there should be a listing that at least of all of us, some contact list that we can all make ourselves available to be able to support everything that involves exposure of our situation. Nobody's helping, so we got to show up. We got to start supporting these and not being so critical of each person's idea. As long as it's exposing our issues, our problems, then so be it. We're your name from the privacy of your own home, or not privacy, of course, but from your own homes. That's the least we could do. It doesn't take going anywhere. It's just a signature to say, yes, I'm being heard out here, and I want somebody to see it, own it, and be accountable for it. What's wrong with that? But I'll leave it for now. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you. Let me suggest to anybody who really doesn't want to give their phone number or email address, go to the internet and make another secondary email address, okay? Just for this.
I agree.
It's not a problem. Gmail and other things like that can be free. Just, Jane Doe 52. I mean, just make a different email if you don't want this going to your regular email. It's simple enough.
Yeah, and to be honest, what about us they don't know? That's the whole point. They know when you go to the bathroom. They know everything. They know everything about us already. It's not like we're keeping anything from them for not supporting our own causes. They already got that. That's the whole problem. It's a total invasion of your privacy. I get bombarded with radio frequencies in the bathroom, everywhere. I'm being tracked by, just everywhere I go. So what about us they don't know already? It's not like you're keeping anything private at this point.
That's true.
Well, I do have a buddies list that's getting slowly built at my website for people, TIs, to contact each other to hopefully incite activism and people getting together to work together and stuff. And you guys are all welcome to fill out the form at my website and get your name added to it. If you want to do whatever email addresses, whatever it asks you for information, you don't have to fill out what you want to. And I can tell you there are people utilizing it already, so it's helping out.
I just think we have to get away from being afraid at this point. It's either be afraid and not do anything, and die, a quick death. We're past the point of being afraid. That's not going to save us. That's what they want. It works right into their plans for us. They want you afraid to be and not do anything about this abuse. They want you scared. So at this point, we have nothing to lose. You got to.
Like I said, it's very stern and fierce wording. If you're not comfortable signing it, then don't. But I basically demanded that this stop based on these laws. I demanded that the assets of all the entities and people, individuals, doing this to us be taken and redistributed to us. And I demanded that the people involved get the death penalty. Now, there is a place where I'm sure you can put, I'm not in agreement with Karen or this petition on these points. And please do. Please do. I would take no offense at you saying I'd rather this than that. That's fine. Just as long as you sign it and get their attention, and the wording is strong to get their attention. because we have been polite, and it's not worked yet.
Right.
So do take a look, consider it, and, sign it or not sign it as you wish. But I just wanted to let people know that's an option for now. And then somebody can come up with something else next month. And if we do a petition every month, I'll sign every petition. I'll support everybody else's efforts. But this I just put out there for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to include it in my my announcement that I'm going to be sending out tomorrow, and allow people to do it. But and allow people to review it and sign it. I haven't not had a chance to read it. I saw the email, but I have a feeling I'm going to agree with you. It's so brutal, and I've talked to so many people who are absolutely brutalized by sadistic monsters, and so I have a feeling I'm going to concur or agree with what you've written. So,
well, like I said, if anybody wants a copy of the document, email me. I will send you a copy. And on the last page, I provide somewhere where it says, I, so-and-so, and you put your name, concur with this letter in so much as, I want this to stop, blah, blah, blah. And it's very polite. You're not necessarily endorsing all of the letter. You are stating in this, on this page, I want it to stop. Now, you guys can play with that, say what you want. I concur here. I do not concur there. Whatever you like. In this last page to the document, and then you can mail that to whoever you want to. But I have put at the end of this, before this last page for the person to sign, I have put that I was the author. Why? Because I'm an egomaniac? No. Because the wording is so strong that if somebody tries to come back at you for sending this, you point it out to them saying, I did not author this. This woman did. Okay? So you point them to me, and I'll take whatever flack. But on the last page for you to put whatever you feel like putting.
Who is this talking again?
This is Karen Stewart.
Oh, hi, Karen Stewart. Can you email me a copy of that, and I'll post it up on my website for people if they want to download it and stuff?
Okay, let me grab my pencil. I didn't do as Ella said. I did not have a pencil, so I will take emails.
It's only your second one that's participating. I can send it, Karen. I can forward it to him. Terry, I'm going to send it to you while we're having the meeting here, so I'll send it to you. I can actually send it to you right now. So I'll go ahead and do that. Karen, is that giving me permission to forward it to him?
You can forward it to anybody, everybody, Ella.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want, Karen, you can go to my website and go to the forums, and there's a place for petitions for people to log their petitions so others can look at them to go sign them.
Okay, I just sent it to you. I got it to you right now.
All right, thank you.
And for the group, you can email me at kams56@me.com.
Hi guys, this is Rochelle, and I've had the opportunity to speak with Karen about her letter. I have already received a copy, and it is right on. I think to be, everybody has their own opinion, but I don't think that it can be brutally written as what's happening to us. We're worrying about words. I think that should be our least concern. It's nothing in comparison to how we're being brutalized physically. This is just words, and to now try to justify us being upset and mad and whatever else about being brutalized physically every day, all day, is no comparison. So it's time that we at least be able to and accept within ourselves, within our own community at least, being angry and owning that. We should be angry. We shouldn't be acting as if all is fine and always use and go in begging. We've been begging now for years. Now we can own being angry. What's wrong with that? I mean, so say what you feel. What's wrong with that? We should not be, allowed, at least within our own community, at least to not be able to own our feelings. I'm tired of being the bad guy for owning our feelings. We should be mad. We should be able to say what it is we're feeling and not have to worry about being criticized about what word we're using after we're being tortured every day. And I also wanted to interject at this point. Now we have to start really playing to win and being able to own the numbers of us that are out here being brutalized every day, and there should be a contact list instead of everybody trying to write down an email one by one and whatever. I don't know how well that works. So there should be a contact list available to us if we plan on trying to be a unit and be able to utilize our numbers, that everybody can be contacted some way by way of an email address that's available to us, perhaps some kind of way, or phone number.